Hello, Waylighters. I'm Renee, and I am here to talk about the beginning of July because there is a lot going on. I especially want to focus on Jupiter moving into Leo today. So, Jupiter is the planet representing the father, and whatever sign that he is in, he expands and intensifies. So, he's been in Cancer for the last a little over a year now. Cancer is the sign of the Great Mother. Cancer rules the moon and is an interior facing type of sign. So, over the past year, you've been invited to look at your deep emotional wounds, to heal your inner child, to discover your own intuition, and to consult it when you're making decisions. You may have experienced some major changes in your family. Cancer rules family as the mother. And now it's interesting that Jupiter is going to be leaving that sign and moving into Leo, which is the sign of the child. So he's leaving the mother to be with the child now. Now, Leo is all that is warm and expressive and very generous and joyful. It is the sign of the child. In the tarot deck, you can see this reflected in the Sun card, which is considered the best card in the deck by many. It is illuminating, and so it does always seek enlightenment, but with a sense of fun and play rather than some other signs like maybe say Capricorn. Capricorn looks instead for what is the lesson, what is the structure. And I mention that because we just had a full moon in Capricorn at the very end of the month on the 29th of June. And that is Saturn saying over the cacophony of all of the change coming up, some of which I didn't talk about yet, but we have the Sun in Cancer, Jupiter is leaving it to move into Leo, Venus is in Leo, adding her graceful touch to all of the transition there. We have a Mercury retrograde still in Cancer where the Sun is as well. So the Sun is in the sign that rules the moon, which sounds like a contradiction, but of course that is our lovely illuminating pair, right? The moon reflects the light of the Sun. The Sun, of course, is our ultimate warmth and generative body. All right, so as we begin July, Mercury is retrograding in the sign of Cancer. So all of those lessons that you just learned over the past year, all of the experiences that you had, you may be reflecting on those. You may have an old family pattern crop up again. It could happen fairly suddenly and unexpectedly. You could go to a place that was special to you in childhood, that is part of your memories there. But in some way, you're going to be thinking about the past year or so and how far you've come. And as you do that, it's a moment of stillness before you move into the more action-oriented Leo sign. So where Cancer is internal facing, Leo is external facing. Leo wants to move into the world, and Jupiter in Leo is going to encourage us to take action, not just to think about it, not just to contemplate or meditate on it, but to actually do it. And to hopefully do it with a sense of joy. So today, let's take a look at what Source wants us to know, where you're entering the month, and any advice that Spirit has about how you're entering the month. And if something in this resonates with you, please like and subscribe so that it helps others find the channel. Thank you. Okay. Let's see what we have here. So Leo is coming out already. We have the card of, wow, certainly is. We have the card of leadership coming right out, and natural leadership is something that is part of Leo's profile, if you will, Leo's character. There's that sense of magnetism and charisma, and people want to be around Leos. And so, especially with Venus in Leo right now, you may be feeling very attractive. If you're not, focus on it. Focus on it a little bit. It doesn't have to mean sensually attractive. It can just mean that you have a sense of confidence. There's nothing more appealing than confidence. So, but in some way, your attention is being called to leadership. That might be that something is going on at work that's entering a new phase, because that is what's happening right now. We're entering a new chapter. We just had the full moon, the first harvest moon of summer here in the Northern Hemisphere, right after the solstice. And now we're moving into that action orientation. And Leo wasn't ready to quit talking to us today. So we have the card of pleasure. I don't think you can see the text there, but it is a card of pleasure moving up on this path and through a new portal. So this is a portal card. And in fact, we are in a portal moment. A lot of astrologers are talking about what's going on in July. It is off the hook. Basically, all of the external planets are making major changes right now, and it is bringing forward a moment in our history that we have not seen in hundreds and hundreds of years, and some people will tell you ever, certainly in our lifetime. It's a time when, if we make the decision to do so, we could move toward a more humane future. And not meaning to exclude any other forms of life there in terms of saying the word humane, but more that the very best of that meaning. It is interesting, though, that where Mercury retrograde also had a comment here because the solitude card came up. And this is that moment of stillness that we are entering this new chapter with. And in some ways, it seems appropriate. This is going to be such a huge change. We should be reflecting on what did we learn in while Jupiter was in Cancer, with the Sun still in Cancer, asking us to think about what illuminated for us during that time. What do we learn about ourselves that we want to carry forward into this next chapter? And can we sit with that for a few moments as we're thinking about where we want to lead and go for the future? All right, so let's get some input now on where are you specifically entering the month? Where are you entering the month? What's going on with you right now? Lots of shuffling going on. Oh, I feel it. All right. Ooh, wow. Oh, all right. So we have the Queen of Wands, the High Priestess, the Three of Swords, and the Four of Pentacles. So this is that kind of mix that we just saw of charisma and leadership and pleasure, but also that stillness. So you are actually feeling very charismatic. We have here the card of Leo. So Leo is definitely making its presence known in this reading. The Queen of Wands is charisma itself. She is beauty, she is ideas, she is creativity. She has got it going on, and she is leadership. Even the cattle here are following her. She has her staff that represents that represents that wand of magic, of making something happen. And it's interesting, though, with all of her energy and her generativity, sometimes she's symbolized by the sunflower. We have her pairing with the High Priestess, and the High Priestess she resonates very much with Cancer attributes of going inside, of stillness, of finding that still point within you where you can access your own intuition and make decisions that you know within your body, within your spirit, within your energy. You know that those are right for you and that they are your truth, and allowing that truth to carry you forward. She doesn't speak a lot, whereas the Queen of Wands, she is, people love to be around her. She has a very strong way of expressing herself. The High Priestess is the quiet part of you, the part that is good with being alone, with that solitude that we saw in the last oracle card. It seems as though you are still nursing a broken heart in some way. You're recovering. So we saw that you are feeling pleasure in life again. You are feeling leadership again. You are the Queen of Wands. So you are moving out into the world. And yet, the High Priestess, it says, she has learned partly through heartbreak. And we have next the Four of Pentacles. So there is this sense right now of a little hesitancy. The Four of Pentacles is usually about either giving in extremes or taking in extremes. So there's an imbalance suggested that causes someone to just say, I'm not sure, so I'm just going to shut down for right now. And so you may be in a shutdown moment where you are saying, which one of these amazing archetypes am I? Am I the Queen of Wands, who is, I should say this way, the Queen of, oh, I did it. We'll just have them dance. How's that? The Queen of Wands that is moving out into the world, or am I the one finding my center from inside? You are both, my friend. You are both. And Cancer, Jupiter in Cancer has helped you do that. The sun is still in Cancer, reminding you of those lessons. And now you're going to be moving into more of a Queen of Wands moment. And I honestly believe that as you do that, these, I don't want to call them dregs of grief, because certainly grief has its own truth and its own reality. So I'm not minimizing in any way. However, there is a point at which you've done as much healing as you can do internally, and I honestly believe that it isn't going outside. It is going external, and communicating with others, and certainly being out in nature. Although you may have still been doing that, I hope you've been doing that as you healed. But there's a point at which your healing really requires other people to continue. Well, that came up fast. So Source is going to clarify now. Source, what is it that you have to say? Clarifying the Queen of Wands. There are two cards wanting to come out. So the Queen of Wands, we have here the Page of Cups. So the Queen of Wands is, in some way, she may have a surprise, and that surprise could be an apology. Um, that's an interesting card to come out with the Queen of Wands, because she is so self-sufficient that the idea of a cup, of a water moment, and especially of, he's kind of contemplating what is the wisdom of the fish in that cup. This really would have, in my mind, have aligned more with the High Priestess. But maybe the Queen of Wands, maybe you as the Queen of Wands are still, maybe you're learning to listen also to that creativity that is not only in wands, but is also in cups. Because when we listen to our heart, that the cups represent, our heart has a lot to say, and it's usually very wise. So you could be writing about, heartbreak. You could be writing about love. You could be writing about what it means, for us to be in relationship with each other, because a lot of times we have to give each other grace. So sometimes this card is associated with apology, and it may be that you receive an unexpected apology, or that you feel like that you need to give one. With this, we have the moon. So again, we have this kind of toggling in between the sun and the moon. The Queen of Wands, so associated with Leo. Maybe that's that reference to Jupiter in Leo. Now we see the moon. Maybe that's a reference to where we just were with Jupiter in Cancer. There can be some confusion. So let's see what else comes out. Let's clarify. Let's keep going and see if this pattern unfolds some, because some of these things that are not what I would have expected to put together. But I trust spirit. So let's see. What wants to clarify? Clarify, please. The High Priestess. Oh, that was it. Okay. So yes, the High Priestess is saying that she is still under a tree, considering some of her past disappointments. So the Four of Cups is basically saying 3 times you have tried something and it didn't work, and there is a fourth cup. Maybe it's this Page of Cups that's coming, this apology or this wisdom that is popping up out of your cup where you least expect it, out of your heart, to give you a nugget of gold to move forward with, something that can internally illuminate you, that you can bring forward. And this is what's being offered. So notice it. He's not looking at it. He's not noticing it. He's looking at those three cups that didn't work. If you have tried something and you feel like if you try it again, it's just going to have the same outcome, maybe try it again. Because if you can do so with the confidence of who you are now and how you're entering Leo, you're entering as a different person. You are entering as, you may not even see it yet. You're entering as more magnetic, as more charismatic, as, by the way, that leader that we started with. And so things may be different this time. Try to take a step back. We have here the King of Swords. Try to take a step back and have some objectivity around it. How might someone else see the situation? It doesn't mean go all in and forgive and forget everything. But what it does mean is say, is there something that could make this situation, this time, different? And maybe that isn't about the other person. maybe that's about you and recognizing who you are and who you've become in the last year. I don't know about you, but I honestly feel like I have lived dog years this past year, frankly, this past 2.5 years. But especially this past year, I can't even believe that we're in July already. And it feels as though I have learned and grown so much. And I am willing to bet that you feel the same. All right, so Three of Swords. Let's look a little bit more at that heartbreak. What does Spirit have to say to us about your heartbreak? And we had a couple of cards come out there. So, oh, beautiful. All right, so I think we have a little bit more context here. So first out is the Knight of Wands. Now, the Knight of Wands is interpreted differently by different readers. I view this very much in keeping with the wand nature of creativity and passion and vitality. Knights are very fast moving. So this is basically saying that there is something coming in very quickly. And I say quickly also because of the next card that came out, which is the Eight of Wands. Lots of wands, which doesn't surprise us maybe because we're asking about Jupiter and Leo. But look at all those wands. They are all moving in the same direction and they're happening very fast. So something is charging in and bringing a new message to you. And guess what that message is? Guess what that message is, my friends? It is the Ten of Pentacles, the good life. This is the idea that your dream of the good life is not gone. It is not gone. Source still hears you, and you are closer than you think. Whoop! You are closer than you think of to being this charismatic person who forges a trail, who recovers a sense of pleasure in life, and who is recovering from this confusion and this disappointment that you have had in the past. And this is actually the surprise. So I'm going to say that this is the surprise. This is a surprise. And the surprise, remember we talked about the surprise little nugget of wisdom? Well, it may arrive externally for you. Remember we said that Jupiter moving into Leo means that things are going to be externalized more. There may be something that completely blindsides you and shocks you, but it is going to be in the very, very best way. Something is coming towards you to remind you of that dream, of that wish that you made once upon a time for a really good life. And Source wants you to know it's not forgotten. I've been asked to use a different deck, so I don't know exactly why that is. We're on our last card, clarifying the Four of Pentacles. The Four of Pentacles was that moment of, I don't know how this is going to be, where the Four of Cups, right? We've been asked to have faith in that last cup to know that it can surprise us. But we're still feeling like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I really see how this could possibly work. So let's see what it is that's the card that, oh, wow, that Spirit has for us. It is celebration. It is another wand. This time it's the Four of Wands, and it's a commitment. It's a contract, it's a commitment, it's a celebration. And there it is. So maybe the message that's coming in may be a surprise invitation, okay, to go to a celebration of the good life. That could be a retirement party or a wedding, or it could be a lot of things. It could just be a regular old party that's saying, hey, let's have a summer or a winter party. Let's get together and just dance and laugh and celebrate being human, being out here in nature together and what it means to be alive. So the message here is your dreams are not forgotten. And if you feel as though this past year has been a growing one and you value that, but you're a little bit tired, you're a little bit fatigued, you're sitting under that tree and wondering like, okay, I know I'm supposed to move out into the world more. I hear you, Renee. But what does that mean? Is that going to mean that I feel unsafe, that I have to just keep going through disappointments? The answer is no. The answer is you do not have to. Yes, when you go within, you want to listen for your intuition, but do so with some objectivity and know that your heartbreak can morph. Your heartbreak can heal the final layers there. You'll always have that scar, and the scar reminds you of how much that you loved and how much things meant to you, someone meant to you, or a time in life meant to you. but something new is coming. You are being invited to more vitality. You're being invited to more celebration. So don't be stubborn. Don't be stubborn with this Four of Pentacles here. Go out and find your Ten of Pentacles again and create it. I have so much faith in you. I can feel you right now. My heart is like, wow, it almost brought tears to my eyes. I feel your faith. Let your open heart carry you forward and feel that magnetism that is the result of that. And allow Venus in Leo still to assist you with that magnetism and that charisma, and know that people are attracted to what you know and who you are, and to your heart and your spirit. So that's it. Just know that I have great faith in you, and I am feeling it. I just feel full up of it right now. I will see you soon.